What's going on, everybody? It's WebsterStyle, Brian Sapph here with another NRW checkpoint. Brian, how you doing, my man?
I am doing okay. Just, anticipating Christmas, ready for that thing to go on and get out the way. How about yourself?
I feel you. Same here. Same here. I know who's not having a good Christmas, though.
Who is that?
Insomniac.
Yeah. Insomniac, PlayStation. Who else? What's the people's name who stole all the money? The swindlers.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot going on in the gaming space. Why nobody can't get right? Like, we going into 2024. Insomniac, this leak.
I felt bad for the developers, man. I really did. Like, usually when people talk about leaks, it's like, oh, a leak. And it's like, it is enough information to get you interested, but enough to reveal anything for real. I mean, they put out concept art, voiceless cast. One thing that got me, and I sent you, the budget for Spider-Man 2, the video game, was more than the budget for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm like, word?
Yeah.
Something don't seem right about that.
Well,
I know the economics of it, but it feels off. And if you're talking about, if we're talking about Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million, $300 million.
Yeah.
That is absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
I would venture to say that a lot of that went into just the overall manpower to like get the game done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because remember, well, for a short time they were, gloating about how they were able to have the characters like transition without any load time. That whole like, it's taking advantage of this thing in the PS5 that no other game is doing. I feel like they probably sunk a lot of money into that. And then marketing. Marvel's not going to slack on a video game because, those kill movies as far as money is concerned.
Yes.
So, but it do seem, I don't know. I understand why you feel like that, though. Because I also, when you first sent it to me, I was like, that is a little awkward. Because I feel like Tobey Maguire alone can demand a nice, a nice piece of change, and you throw that on top of what you would have to give Andrew and Tom. I feel like at least $100 million for them three.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the other cameos that happen. But then I know Marvel, they're a little bit smart with their contracts, and they sign people up for all these movies at one time and say, hey, you're going to get you a nice cut here, and then you obligated to do this much for us for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So, and they might get money off the back end too. They get them cheap. True. So that'd be smart.
Yeah. But I agree with you that it had to be a tough day for the developers over at Insomniac to see all that stuff like spill out like that.
Yeah. Part of me is like, I want to go through everything, but I really don't, because I genuinely feel bad for Insomniac for their literally entire roadmap to be released like that, and all that concept art. I was like, man, it really, really sucks. Because I wouldn't want my hard work and my plans to be revealed. I feel like it's a disservice to the fans. Because again, I don't own a PlayStation, but I'm always excited to see what new is coming out, to be surprised like everybody else, to be excited and to see what's going on. The fact that, now all this is out there, it's like, man, it's just they literally ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. And that all, and that probably put a hole in some of the deals they could have made, you know what I'm saying, as far as those games are concerned also. Because you think about it, the gaming industry, they make a lot of money off of the surprise and shock factor as well.
Exactly.
So it's like
they build hype,
man. Yeah, so it's gonna be really, really hard to build hype for something that people knows that y'all was already doing this, and especially when your competitors can also be like, oh, that's what they doing. Let's try to find a way to get it, around that or
Exactly.
counteract it. But hopefully, I mean, either way, the good thing about this, or not necessarily the good thing, but I guess the silver lining or whatever is the fact that either way, like the games are gonna sell. Like, I don't care that I know about a game that's coming out 5 years. If I'm interested in it, I'm gonna wait them 5 years. I'm still waiting on Kingdom Hearts 4. I waited 10 years for Kingdom Hearts.
They just announced that like last year, so yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter. If I know what's coming, I'm gonna play it regardless. So hopefully, Insomniac they don't take this too much to heart, and they just keep pushing forward, and we get some of them games. I didn't personally get a chance to look at anything. I was kind of uninterested when I seen that because I'm like, bro, nobody like anything that they're working on to get leaked. As a creative, I understand that. So I didn't even pay attention to it. Then whatever, when I heard about it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. But I'm still playing because Insomniac is one of my favorite developers.
Exactly. Yeah. I think for me, like, I shied away from in some of the gaming groups I'm in Discords and Telegram. I shied away from the more material assets as far as character designs and whatnot. I did see I saw more of the documents, because that stuff, the Telegram group I'm in, all of the pictures and stuff, they were like kind of encoded, so you can just see them in the preview headset to open them, but the documents are right there for everybody to see in the group. I'm like, I'll stay away from that. So I saw like the roadmap, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That kind of sucks, but okay, that's cool. That's a natural progression. But this is something I thought was interesting.
What's that?
That sales were leaked as well of certain games on Steam. So we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn sold 3.3 million copies on Steam alone. That's God of War 2018 sold 2.5 million copies. And Days Gone, which is, again, from all understanding, that series performed pretty well, but apparently not well enough for Sony. So 1.7 million copies on Steam. This is what I found kind of shocking. Spider-Man Remastered only sold 1.3 million copies on Steam. That I find shocking, considering Uncharted Legacy of Thieves 483,000 copies. Miles Morales only sold 450,000 copies on Steam. That's very surprising and shocking for me. But more so, and this is what I found funny, and we go back a couple months, the whole Activision Microsoft deal, and how Sony's voraciously, I think I got that word anyway, racially fighting against it, and their argument seemed stupid. I mean, from an anti-competitive standpoint, right? So these documents now, it has better articulated than Sony did why they didn't want this integration to happen, but it's not anti-consumer. Right. Based on Sony's documents, they were basically afraid of getting lapped. They stated that their way of doing things is outdated, and this will give their competition total integration into mobile, PC, and console at the same time, where they are playing catch up. And that Game Pass. Right. Yeah. And they're like, they can't afford to do it the way of the competitors. So the competitor getting even stronger in that field is going to, they were basically afraid of getting lapped as far as the technology and the marketplace is concerned, because their practices by their own admission are antiquated. That makes more sense. And again, you can't argue that in court. Because that's basically saying, hey, we don't want to get outcompete. Yeah,
we don't want to lose to our competitors. It's like somebody got to lose. So if it's y'all, then merger passes. Like, yeah,
you can't say, our competitors' way of doing things is working well and progressing in the market. We are the market leader, but hey, our way of doing things is what we used to do, and everybody's moving past us as far as technology, what they're offering consumers. So we want to make sure they don't lap us or they don't get ahead of us even more in that by stopping this merger. Again, I understand that more, and it makes more sense than the arguments that they made in court. But of course, you can't make those arguments in court because
I was about to say,
now, mind you, the whole thing from a gamer perspective, I think many non-fanboyish gamers, and I say non-fanboyish for a reason, they sat and looked at the marketplace. They looked at games again. Not again, but I'll say this: Microsoft's argument for that was anybody, people can make games, companies can make games. You get a big hit, them buying Activision doesn't change anything. What's the biggest game of the year this year?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3, Hogwarts Legacy. Neither one of those games,
Spider-Man 2,
are Activision.
Right.
Like the biggest games of the year came from not Sony, not Microsoft, of course, Call of Duty, but you know what I mean, as far as critical acclaim games that people are constantly talking about. Spider-Man 2 is there, and I'm not saying it's not, but let's be real. You're talking about things that really had an impact on the gaming landscape. Arguably the top two of the year are going to be Baldur's Gate 3 and Hogwarts Legacy, because Baldur's Gate 3 was the little engine it could that showed all these big AAA gaming houses how to do it right. And Harry Potter gave an experience that Harry Potter fans wanted, and it sold crazy. I know it sold more than 10 million. I want to say it was like 13, 14. It was ridiculous how many copies that game sold.
Yeah.
So,
and it's doing numbers on the Switch with the new,
Exactly. So it's one of those things where the market itself showed that their arguments were invalid. But from a business standpoint, I was like, oh, my competitor now has a viable option in the mobile space. And I think one of the things they were afraid of was, I think it was BattleNet. So they have an already online PC distribution launcher or something like that as well. And I'm like,
yeah, that's Activision's.
Yeah.
Even I got a BattleNet account. I don't touch a PC game, but I kind of need it. You don't need it, but they do a good way of integrating it into things.
Right. So I understand where that concern came from. And from a business standpoint, it makes a lot more sense. It's just legally speaking, it doesn't hold water.
Yeah. But see, we poked holes in the arguments when they was making them. It's like, this don't make sense. It got to be something else. Now we find out what it is.
It was something else.
Yeah.
They were literally shaking in their boots.
Yeah, which I don't know. I don't consider myself to be like a business guru or anything like that. Nothing of the sort. I take interest in business from a consumer standpoint, and maybe I want to own a business or two here and there in the future. All that aside, I was saying that to say, if it was me, that's not gonna bother me, because I look at companies like Apple who are literally that, like they're behind in the technology curve. They're innovative in their own right, but you think about all the conversation that happens every time a new iPhone comes out. Oh, Android.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
I'm great analogy. Apple and Sony.
Yeah, like I just feel like the part that Sony needs to focus on in order for this stuff not to bother them is just tightening up what they have on the market. The reason that iPhone continues or Apple continues to succeed, even though we know Androids have better technology, we know Microsoft is ahead in terms of PC and all that other stuff. Like, we know this stuff, but the reason Apple continues to succeed is because they tighten up their software and they tighten up their hardware. It works seamlessly.
Yep.
Like the ecosystem that they build, the way that they handle customer issues or issues with their devices and things like that. They know they can't catch up. So instead of focusing on the technology aspect, it's like, let's just make everything else strong. Like, and then that'll just support our weakest link. Like, if it's as long as we are strong in other areas, people are not going to focus on that. Because genuinely, honestly speaking, like, most people not tech heads like that care.
Right. They aren't.
That certain things are not possible. Right.
And they don't want to get cheated out of their money.
Right. So Apple has decided to appeal to consumers in a way that, well, their whole thing is ease. Everything is easy. You could just tap a button here, do this, do that, and the third. Sony just got to figure out what they could do to stand apart and make it absolutely clear you will not get this experience anywhere else but Sony. They try with the whole, oh yeah, let's write these crazy contracts or whatever to kind of keep games over here for a long time before they can go anywhere else. It is proven that that's not working.
Right.
All those numbers you just read, most of those games came to PC after they were on PlayStation and the thing expired, the license expired, or the contract or whatever, and they still sold millions on a lot of those.
Exactly.
So it's like the exclusivity thing ain't a big deal. You just gotta figure out what you could do. That's if we want to be more in line with the game industry, you just look at what Nintendo's doing. They ain't got no technology. Like, their technology literally is out of date, and they know that. They're creating a different experience over there, and it's wrapping people up every single time. Sony just got to figure it out. Prior to the courts talking about, oh, they're gonna monopolize cloud play and all this other stuff. It's like, you're scared that somebody that is another large, another giant in the gaming industry is gonna have a leg up on, because Nintendo got a leg up on Sony. Sony may be the market leader, but what Nintendo has done with their IP and everything like that, that's not gonna be. Sony can't touch that.
Yeah,
so they want to focus on Microsoft, and that's understandable. But you got to figure out what's special about you.
You make a great point. You're right. Nintendo has their IP. They have IP that spans generations.
Literally.
I mean, generations. Microsoft has the tech and the background and the cloud. So they are constantly pushing innovation when it comes to, specifically in this case, the gaming space.
Right.
Sony, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. But Sony looks like a dinosaur.
They are.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not.
But what makes you different other than the fact that you're doing things the same way you've done them forever?
Exactly. So for Sony to be able to admit that, oh, all of our practices are antiquated and we're gonna fall behind, that should be like a clear flag that, hey, maybe we need to change some of these things, because capitalism is not going to be like, okay, well, we're gonna hold out for you. Like, people want their money. So if Sony got better product, you're gonna fall behind. You gotta make your stuff special. Figure it out, Sony, and stop complaining. I feel like they close. They building an ecosystem that looks similar to what Apple has done and could possibly have a leg in the gaming space. But they got to stop doing other stuff like taking money for no reason. Like, why would you raise the price of the thing and don't give me nothing extra? I don't understand that.
$200 for a pair of earbuds that only work with your
exactly. like that's an Apple move.
Yeah,
but you're not Apple.
Exactly.
So
exactly. You can't do Apple if you ain't Apple.
Yeah.
It's like if Samsung put out their earbuds that only work with Samsung phones, like everybody looking like, you crazy, right?
Right. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, but I just want to talk. I felt like we should talk about that because that's like the biggest thing in the gaming news this week. Sense. And there's literally nothing coming out until like the second week of January. So let's talk about our top games of at least top 3 games. I'm sure we have more than top 3, but Brian, kick us off. What are your top 3 games for this year?
So my top 3 games for this year, these are all games that I played and I bought and I had a good time just playing. It had a lot of replay value, at least to me. And they ended up exciting me to get into my back catalog and finish some of these other games. I said that to myself today. I said, you know what, this year, 2024 is going to be the year of clearing out the back catalog. Right. I spent a lot of money on games, and I have some of them I haven't even like got to the title screen. Just bought it because I knew I wanted to play it. Yeah. So the first one is Spider-Man 2. Now, this one, you know, everybody know this game. A lot of nominations, a lot of awards. Now we ain't really clean up too much at the game awards, but you know, in other spaces they received their flowers.
It was a tough year this year, so
yeah. Baldur's Gate just came out.
It really is Baldur's Gate. It's
they really just came out and was like, no, let's go sit down. But I had a good time playing this game. The story was really, really good. I'm like a big fan of Spider-Man or whatever, so of course I'm a little biased. Who cares? I enjoyed the game. They appealed to me, the people in the Marvel community who are Spider-Man fans and understand his lore in a way that's, you know, playable in game form. And I had a good time. I enjoyed a lot of surprises, they did things with the story that I wasn't expecting, because the game been out now, so this ain't really a spoiler, but I didn't know. Well, it's not that I didn't know. They did things that, like, Harry became Venom, and Mary Jane became the Scream symbiote at one point in the game. Like, and those things are never really. Those storylines never really took place in like the comics and TV show stuff. So stuff like that was fun. But yeah, great game. The web wing, the flying, gliding shit through the thing, that was really, really fun. You know what's crazy? They made such a big deal about, you know, you can swap and fast travel, and it just takes no time, no load screen, no nothing. I didn't use the fast travel at all. I had a fantastic time swinging through New York and doing the web wing gliders. I forgot that you could fast travel. So I don't know. I don't know if that was necessarily a good thing to tagline your game. Like, you could do this really, really fast, because I really didn't care about it. But fantastic game. I enjoyed playing it. I don't know, that's the fastest I've beaten the game in a long, long time. Like, put hours into it almost daily, 100% completion rate on the story. Locked all of the suits, maxed out the skill tree for both Miles and Peter. Like, I really enjoyed that game. It's really dope. Did you want to get into your number one, or you want me to just run down my list?
No, I'm gonna run down yours first. So let's get into the trailer.
Okay.
We have to talk.
They just really did a fantastic job with this game. Even
you sure this is something you can handle yourself?
Story. They definitely made it a point to, I don't want to say confirm, because they really ain't confirming anything, but the way the story ends is really, really feeling like there's going to be a Spider-Man 3, and we're probably going to get the Sinister Six team up we've been looking for. Based on the way the story ended, I'm pretty sure Harry's going to follow the comic books or in the cartoon and become the Hobgoblin and stuff like that. Like, I was impressed.
I know I can snap him out of this.
Even, I talked about this, I did a review on the podcast. I was not expecting, because I didn't finish the first game, so I don't know if there was like this aspect of it in there. But I wasn't expecting these characters to like kill each other and they be gone.
Right.
It was one point in the game where it was like, okay, Kraven's about to be the boss. I'm about to finally throw hands with Kraven. He's been running around killing all of the other Sinister Six people. It's finally my time. Venom is the character that actually kills Kraven. You don't even get you get to play as him. Yeah, you get to play as him for a little bit, as Harry, whatever. But I was like, I was really not expecting that. And like, he died. Like, he ate him. He like bit his head off.
Whoa.
And then Kraven was done for the rest of the game. Like, you never saw him again. I was like, this is okay. I like this.
Didn't see that coming, exactly.
Yeah. And then Kraven, the way Kraven killed Scorpion, he like ripped his tail off and stabbed him in the chest with it. It
seemed appropriate, actually.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they did a good job with making sure the fans felt connected to the story.
Cool.
And fantastic game. I would play it again, but I'm trying to focus on Final Fantasy 16, which we'll get into that in a second. Because my second top game of 2023 was Hogwarts Legacy. And I put Hogwarts Legacy on there literally because I'm a Harry Potter fan, Slytherin house, like that's my thing. I like Harry Potter. I go to Wizarding World at least once a year. It's right down the street from me over at Universal Studios Orlando, so I go. It's a really good game. The story is good from the aspect of it's a new story. It's not you playing Harry, Ron, or Hermione and going through the story that you read in the book or whatever you saw in the movies, because those stories do differ, even though people feel a way about that. They gave you a new story. The customization was crazy. That's my first game, especially on PlayStation 5, that had that level of customization like built into it. They really, really care enough about where we are socially to, not title, your selections on for gender. So it was not like, oh, male voice, female voice. It was like voice 1, voice 2. And it was just a bunch of little like details that I really, really appreciated. It's the Harry Potter game I always wanted, except for there's no online component and there's no Quidditch in there. Now, this bothered me initially because I'm like, all right, now I want to play Quidditch. But then when they came back, it was like, oh, we're making a whole separate component as far as Quidditch is concerned. So that don't worry about that. I was like, okay, cool. The online thing, I could see why that might be difficult. Imagine every Harry Potter fan across the world trying to log into this one game. Servers can't handle the Hogwarts fans, so I understand that. But yeah, man, it was a really good game story wise. Very, very detailed. The open world map, it looked amazing. All of the different magical creatures that they had in there like took me back when I first was reading the book for the first time. And I was like, this is really, really dope. They did a great job. The connections that they made to Harry's story, with some of the teachers in this game being like the parents or like the grandparents of the teachers that were Harry's teachers or something like that, or faculty members and stuff like that. They did a lot of cool stuff in the game that I was really happy about. So good. Trailer, we rolling that?
You've read the books.
I see how misleading that is.
Put yourself.
They like made it a point to show the ring. Even that was fun. You get to do the dueling thing on the table like they did in
watch them on the big
stage. Was really, really a fun experience. Right on the hippogriff. Like,
the magic and fantasy of the world created in the Harry Potter.
This thing right here, he's in
his world.
Like, this room of requirement. It transforms so you can like catch magical creatures, and then like
the magical event of a generation is finally here.
It was really, really good.
You're invited to the must-have game of the year.
Actually, this is my next game on my back catalog to beat.
Arriving February 10th.
Once I finish Final Fantasy 16, I'm going back to Hogwarts Legacy to finish that out. Speaking of Final Fantasy 16, that's the third game.
All right.
Final Fantasy 16. The only reason I put Hogwarts Legacy over this game is because I'm farther in the story with Hogwarts Legacy. Final Fantasy 16, I'm still, I think last time I checked, 37% or somewhere around there, between 30 and 50% with the story for Final Fantasy 16. Either way, the story is good. I've been finding myself, I like to play music when I game. I find myself pausing my music to like listen to what's going on in the story with the cut scenes and when the characters interact with each other. And I don't know, something about this game, I think it's because it reminds me a lot of the battle mechanics that are in Kingdom Hearts, which obviously it makes sense because
it makes sense,
yeah, Square. But I don't know, it felt like I was playing another entry into the Kingdom Hearts series. Like just the way the battling went on. I wish the your little NPC characters would help out a little more, because I got my ass kicked or a few bosses, and I'm like, I got 2 team members and they're not they're not doing what I thought they're supposed to do. That's something that Kingdom Hearts perfected really well. There's a lot of group activity going on in that game, but this one in particular, the story is good. It looks great. The voice acting is really good. What else can I say about this game? Oh, I just like it, man. Out of all the Final Fantasy games I've played, I feel the most connected to 16, and that's even coming from a place I play or I have in my back catalog, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and yeah, this game to me is better. The story, the gameplay mechanics, the battle system, the appearance, and the graphics and everything,
right?
The smoothness of it, and then the story. Let's roll the trailer.
Let's go.
Ready?
What do you think?
Now, see, this is the part I want to get to right here because I don't know how she did that. I have that character in the game. I don't know how she did that, so I need to keep playing. Even this thing here, for those of you who don't know, whoever played the game, Clive is the main character, and he's like,
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
He's like a he got something special going on inside his body, some magic, and it allows him to do otherworldly things, like harness the power of these Godzilla-like monsters, which you see right here in the trailer, and turn into them. Yeah, so it's really good. And then the writing, whoever's part of the writing team for the story or whatever, I did a fantastic job. On that point in time where
and I will do.
Clive has a dog, and then he also has a little, I forgot what they call it, but it's like a ostrich that you can run around on. And at some point, he thinks both of them are dead, and they find their way back to him or whatever. It's real touching if you're an animal person. But I don't know, it helped endear me to the main characters of the story because of how pivotal they were in the actual opening mission for the game. Yeah. But that's my top 3. I feel like I talked a lot, but I'm interested. What you got going on over there?
Yeah, it's weird. I was looking through my all my games I played this year over at trueachievements.com. Mm-hmm. Most of the games I played this year didn't come out this year. However, there were a few that stood out. And first up is the one you probably already guessed, the game I was waiting for since like the Game Awards 2021 were first announced. Yeah, it was Star Trek Resurgence. On this list, this is the one game I bought. The other 2 were on Game Pass and still on Game Pass. Right. This game was everything. I'm not finished yet, but it's literally everything I wanted it to be. In a Star Trek experience. It has a good story. I'm not saying it's great award-winning story, but I feel like I'm playing an episode of Trek from like the late 90s, early 2000s. It's such a wonderful game to play. I would say it's a little, I'll say janky at times, just some of the tearing and whatnot of frames and whatnot. Could use a little bit more polish, but as a Star Trek experience, it is magnificent. It really is a magnificent. It is such a love letter to that era of Star Trek, in my opinion. And I haven't looked this up in a while, but I forget the voice actor who came in, who was Spock. And he sounds so much like Leonard Nimoy. And the fact that Jonathan Frakes was in it as well, Commander Riker or Captain Riker, it was just a wonderful experience. And I hope the game did well enough so that team comes back and does another game. I would love to see maybe if they do something in older Trek, especially with Strange New Worlds and how much I love that show. It would be very interesting to see something with a Captain Kirk or a Pike or those individuals, or even in that realm where you then interact with those individuals during that time period of Star Trek, especially the way that era has been redesigned now for television. I think it would lend very well to being reinterpreted in video game form. So that's Star Trek Resurgence. Let's check out this trailer.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The Starfleet has tasked us with a mission of the highest priority.
This look like you playing an episode.
Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
I really like games like this, though. I understand that they want to make as much money as possible, but you can tell with games like this that they're like, the fans come first, like the people,
and they love it. Like you can, when you see games like this, you know this is the game that the developers want to play.
Right.
If we can't go to warp, we're sitting ducks here. It puts the mission and everyone on the ship at risk.
They respect one thing, and that is force.
Yeah, I think
I remember
that
watching
whole
this trailer.
scene you saw them shooting, that's where I left off at, so I have to get back into that. There's like a little stealth element there.
USS Titan.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Resolute.
Riker.
Against imagine.
I see this games like this are gonna keep me being a gamer forever. I tell people all the time, like I'm not much of a novel reader. Like I read articles all day, but when it comes to like picking up a novel that front to back, those days are
Total
beyond.
6-3.
Games are how I keep my imagination, you know, just running and going and engage my mental in a different way. Just games like this, like they really well thought out. You can tell the developers, like you said, they like the game, they want to play it. I like stuff like that.
Right. So that was Star Trek Resurgence. My second game is a game that I didn't think I would like as much, but it's not a first-person shooter that breaks any of the rules or reinvents them, but it has such a wonderful motif of this sort of industrialized Russia, and it's just so cool to play. And let's get into it. It's Atomic Heart.
Okay.
Like you can clearly tell BioShock was a big inspiration for this game.
I see it.
But I love the character designs. I love the world. It was so fun to traverse in this world of the different characters.
Just looking at this trailer, it kind of reminds me of 007. Like, I don't know why that's coming.
Early on in the game, like the first level, once you get underground, like this is when you like really first start fighting the robots, and you go into this man's restroom and hear somebody taking a piss. And then all of a sudden, this robot just busts out of his soul. We're like, why is the robot taking a piss?
Right. How did they simulate that?
Right. Exactly. It was so crazy. But that sort of stuff you get, again, it's something that's minor, but it was such a pleasant shock as I was playing the game, something I didn't expect. So that's my number 2, Atomic Heart. And then the last one is the one that took the gaming world by storm because nobody saw it coming. Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay.
Check it out.
I need to, well, you know what? I don't know if I'm about no more games. I got back catalog.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's on Game Pass, so you know it's not going nowhere.
Right.
Right. All right, let's check out the trailer.
I don't care, man. I'm gonna still buy this game.
Yeah, this game was just
wondering how I ended up here.
It was so fun to play.
Pretty standard.
And it was simple, but it has a complexity to it as well, which I really enjoyed. And you know, we talked about it before when it came out.
Bring up my new robot.
That's dope.
They have a multimedia property now that they can really put, like, they can turn this into a cartoon, anime cartoon. I see all types of merchandise with these characters. I think they really can have a gold mine, and I'm surprised that nothing has really happened with it since it came out.
Shy, not
I'm surprised as well, because it definitely looks like it's made for like mass consumption on a multimedia level.
Yes,
but I also think I don't know, something about this is telling me that's in the cards for in the future, but they really want to build a solid foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It feel like they might be taking their time because they don't want to like water the game inside down too early. They want to really, really like continue to put out great games. Because I could see this. Did you beat the game?
No, I haven't beaten the game yet. See, the only problem with this is since I'm still rocking the Xbox One, I go through CloudPlay and playing through peak times right now. Especially for the more popular games, has not been a fun experience trying to wait in queues and whatnot. So I haven't jumped back into it in a while just because there's been a lot of stuff going on, and then Starfield and everything else came out. So, you know, my attention was drawn elsewhere. But those are my top three for the year. Brian, you know, right before Christmas, what's going on with you this week?
What's going on with me this week? Man, nothing. You just said it's right before Christmas. My mom's birthday is coming up as well. She's Christmas Eve baby. So I'm spending a bunch of money that I don't want to spend, but I'm happy to because it's people I care about. Right. So I'm focused on that. I probably, because I've been writing some things down, I've been a little inspired lately. So I probably will put out one more episode of the Talk+Play blurb probably before the new year drops. But if I don't, I ain't tripping. I'm definitely, because I've been in a space where I'm like, I want to revamp things and kind of, I don't know. I've just been in a creative space. So I'm working on changing some things around. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like I said, preparing for Christmas to come and go because I'm ready for it to move on out of my pockets. I'm ready for it to go find somewhere else to be.
Ready for 2024.
Yeah. What about you? What you got?
Let's see. This week has been I say normal week. Dropped episode 175 of the podcast, appropriately titled "Burying Your Face in the Red Room." Inside joke with myself and my interviewee, Ren from Red Room over the Head Nerds in Charge. I interview her, and this interview is only on the podcast because her video didn't come through when we did the video. So it's a distinct one-of-a-kind video for the podcast, and also highlights as Dusk Falls again because that exclusivity window is leaving. So now it's going to be dropping on PlayStation 4 and 5, and I think that's just an excellent game for people to check out. Also, Game Bites this week. I popped my cherry for Grand Theft Auto, so I played through Grand Theft Auto 5 or play some. Yeah, I've never played Grand Theft Auto before now.
Really?
So, yeah.
How you feel about it?
You know me about shooting people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool and weird at the same time. Cinematically speaking, I get the hype. I get why people want to play it. I get why it gets such acclaim just from playing, 30 minutes to 32 minutes to an hour of it. I totally get why. I get why people love this game. And then I have my moment with Miss Apple Redbottom from Exotica DC. Check that one out. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Check that one out. So that's this week, and probably a little bit lighter next week, but we'll talk about that next week with next week's show. Of course, you are for us, nerds rule the world. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at News Wednesday, on Twitter at the NRW, and of course, you're currently on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.